So I will start with the introduction. So for the introduction, our topic focuses on Malaysia's tariff policy on food imports and how it affects food security from 2020 to 2025. So Malaysia released on imported food like rice, meat, and vegetable. Events like COVID-19, supply chains disruption, and high transport costs make food supply unstable. So tariffs affect price and local farmers. So the government must balance protecting producer and keeping food affordable. So we continue with the analysis. So for the first article was economic impact of import liberalization policy on the agricultural food sector in Malaysia. So this article explains why Malaysia removed the import quota for beef, mushroom, and coffee. The main reason was the local production could not meet the high demand, so the government opened the market to stabilize supply. So the purpose of the study was to measure how the policy affect both local industry and consumer. The author used secondary data and applied tests like trend analysis and regression to compare the situation before and after policy. From their findings, beef and mushroom export decreases and their price actually increased. At the same time, even after the quota was removed, import of beef and mushroom still went down. So this showed that liberalization did not lower price the way theory suggests. So coffee behaved differently compared to meat product. So in conclusion, the study found mixed result. Each commodity react differently, meaning the policy impact depends on the type of product. So next, for the article 2, talk about the problem in Malaysian food sector. So even though agriculture is growing, most focus and money go to big industry crops like palm oils and rubber. Because of this, food production is not developing well, which could hurt the food security. So the author use the qualitative method to study Malaysian food sector and find out why many agricultural policy doesn't work well. And they found several problems: unclear priorities and poor coordination between agency, overlapping duty, and favoritism. So this made policy less effective and slow down food sector growth. So politics also play a big role. Decision and resource allocation are often influenced by political interests, which reduce the effectiveness of food policy. In conclusion, Malaysia face food security challenge because of weak policy management. So the author suggests focusing on the food first approach, giving the priority to food security over the industrial crops. Okay, so for the last article was talk about how rising food price in Malaysia affect household after the COVID-19 pandemic. So many families, especially low incomes groups, struggle financially, and some middle income family even fell into the low income group. So the study looked at the whether food price increase reduce household purchasing power. Using data from the Department of Statistics Malaysia and Bank Negara Malaysia, the researcher found that when the food price go up, household consumption go down. So this showed that higher food costs make it harder for families to afford basic needs, hitting low income household the most.
Hello, madam. My name is Muhammad DANISH. So today I'll be presenting my part, which is the evaluation. So I'll be explaining about the evaluation of Malaysian tariff policy from 2020 until 2025. So point number 1 is protection for local farmers. is that tariffs are used to protect local farmers from cheaper imported products, and they help the farmers stay competitive, ensure stable income, and support food self-sufficiency goals. But, however, too much protection can reduce innovation and efficiency. For example, in the rice sector, high tariff and burdens control led to higher rice prices during COVID and the Ukraine war. Moving on for point number two, tariff increase food prices. So in Malaysia, it relies on heavily on important foods, so tariff directly raise retail prices, and this reduce the affordability, especially for B40 and M40 household. During crisis, tariff made inflation worse between 2021 until 2023. For example, when prices spiked in dairy, wheat, for example, like dairy, wheat, and chicken, the government had to use subsidy and temporary tariff reduction. So, in conclusion, overall, the tariff protects the local farmers, but they also increase food prices for consumers. So, Malaysia need to a balanced approach to support the farmers while keeping food affordable. All right, that's all for my part. Thank you.
Hi, my name is SHAZLIANA. I will present about everything. Number 3 is Malaysia having dependent on food important increase. So first point is available to global distribution. Malaysia depend heavily on imported foods such as dairy, meats, and fruit. When global crises occur like COVID-19, occurring conflict, supply becomes unstable. Example, Malaysia wheat are important, wheat are distributed during the Ukraine conflict because the Ukraine was the one of the key exporter. Number 2 is high tariff increase cost and slow response. High tariff make the important food more expensive and reduce important willingness to search for the new supplies. Example, imported milk price increased during the pandemic due to high shipping costs and tariff. Number 3 is limit supply control. Malaysia relies on the only a few major supplies country reduced flexibility during shortage. Example, Malaysia relies heavy on Australia and New Zealand for dairy products, so any import issue in the country direct affect local supply. So number 4 is tariff do not guarantee food security. Even with tariff, hide the import dependent keeps the food system fragile, higher cost and reduce import volume. Example, when the imported chicken price rises, restaurants often reduce stock or increase selling price. So lastly is number 5, need balance between tariff and flexibility. Import policy. Malaysia must balance protective local farm with ensuring affordable and diversifying food source. Example, receiving tariff for the alternative supply such as India or Turkey can help prevent footage during global distribution.
Hi, my name is Fitrah Nabila and I'll be presenting about the recommendation. So, firstly, Malaysia needs to increase domestic production. The National Food Security Policy Action Plan from 21 to 2025 already highlights this, and it's crucial to strengthen local supply to we don't rely too heavily on import. Second is we must enhance food security through technology. Smart farming, automation, and climate change method can help stabilize production and reduce waste. Thirdly, is Malaysia should diversify import resources by widening our supplier base, where can avoid over dependence on just a few countries and better manage global price volatility. Fourth is we recommend price moderation strategies. These include government incentive, international cooperation, and private sector in involvement to keep food affordable while still protecting local farmers. Lastly is Malaysia should invest in agricultural technology and governance. Tools like smart irrigation, cold chain logistics, and real-time mentoring will make the food system more efficient. Lastly is about conclusion. In conclusion, Malaysia tariff policy between 2020 and 2035 has been balancing act, protecting local producers while trying to keep food affordable for consumer. The National Food Security Policy Action Plan 2021 until 2025 provides structured response, combining tariff and non-tariff measurable across 5 strategic pillars. Overall, Malaysia is moving away from rigid protectionism toward more flexible, innovation-driven approach. This shift is essential to build a food system that is resilient, affordable, and sustainable. One that safeguards both farmer and household against future global shocks. That's all from me.